This is crazy. This is the fourth day in a row I've made a video. We are in an epic stretch of severe weather nonstop. We've had scenes like this almost every day. Now we likely have a tornado outbreak on the way. There's no guarantee it'll happen. It could go two very different ways. We're gonna cover that along with the severe weather expected for the rest of the week. Today's forecast video starting now. Aliens are real. We're gonna get right into it today. We're gonna talk about really quickly the severe weather risk for today, but most of you guys aren't gonna be watching it for that. We're gonna fly through it. We do have a slight risk of severe storms that goes from South Dakota up here all the way down into Texas, where we do have a 5% risk of some tornadoes from Nebraska all the way down into Lubbock and Amarillo in West Texas. And by the time you watch this video, a lot of these storms will probably be ongoing. So just know, could get some hail, could get some strong storms today, even a couple of tornadoes on Sunday, April 27th. That's today. Let's get right into this massive severe weather risk that we have for Monday, April 28th. We've got this moderate risk here that's for southern Minnesota, western Wisconsin, and northern Iowa, as well as an even bigger enhanced risk that includes all of Iowa, all of Wisconsin, and most of Minnesota. Now, the enhanced risk, that's a 3 out of 5. The moderate, that's a 4 out of 5. And the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted that same area in the moderate as a very high likelihood of getting a EF2 plus tornado. Anywhere in red there on the screen, that's at least a 30% chance of getting an EF2 plus tornado. We've got this even bigger area, that in yellow, that's a 10% chance. And you see those lines that go through, those hash marks that go through like that. That indicates anywhere in the red or in the yellow, chances are pretty high of seeing a strong, violent EF2 plus tornado. But there's no guarantee that a tornado outbreak Monday is gonna happen. Let me show you why. So what we're looking at now, this is the simulated radar on the HRRR, and this shows you how this could all go down. And I'm gonna explain two possible outcomes for Monday. By Monday morning, we're gonna have a low pressure that's centered up here in South Dakota. We're also gonna have a warm front that's going to be lifting to the north, and with it, we're gonna have a lot of shower and storm activity. Now, on the south side of that low, we're gonna have warm, moist air being pulled up from the Gulf and from the south, and that will help destabilize things, increase those temperatures, increase those CAPE values that Gatorade for storms in a major way during the day. Now, as we go into the afternoon and evening, that warm front's gonna slide further to the north, and you'll notice a lot of that rain is gonna clear out. But look at this. This is 5 p.m. We still don't really have any storms firing in Iowa and Minnesota. Everything is up in northern Minnesota. And as we go into the evening, nothing really fires once again. Iowa, there's nothing. Minnesota, there's nothing. There's some storms up here as well. A little bit of storms out here in South Dakota, but nothing too intimidating at this point. By the time we hit 10, 11 p.m. at night, maybe 1 or 2 supercells, but this is one of the things that could happen, right? There's two kind of possible ways this could go down. We have a massive tornado outbreak, which a lot of the conditions are there, or option B is this as being depicted by the HRRR. It's not a lot of storms form, and that's in large part due to a cap that could be in place. If we take a look at the soundings, this is in northern Iowa, right in the heart of that moderate risk, and this is right around 6, 7 o'clock. Notice we've got this cap in place. What is a cap? Think about if you were to put a storm in a jar, right? And that storm can't rise any further because it's trapped in that jar. That cap is the lid of that jar, keeping that storm down, keeping it trapped inside that bottle. But as soon as you unscrew the lid of the jar, as soon as that cap breaks off the jar, that storm can go free and it can rise into the air and be free. And so even though we've got almost perfect wind profiles, a lot of the models say the hazard type's gonna be tornadoes. We've got plenty of shear, we got plenty of twist in the wind. That cap doesn't break tomorrow, those storms aren't gonna form. And if those storms don't form, tornado outbreak goes kaput. Now, the NAM depicts a different scenario, and this one would be more of a tornado outbreak. As you'll see, by about 5 to 6 to 7 p.m., see those red and green dots start to show up here. If storms do form in that area that I've circled, I can almost promise you they're going to produce a tornado. So each one of those green and red dots you see in Minnesota and Iowa, each of those will likely be supercells, and each of those could have a pretty good chance of producing a tornado. So that's our second scenario. Scenario number one, the cap doesn't break and it busts. Scenario number two, the cap does break, storms form, tornadoes quickly form, goes downhill very fast. All the other ingredients are there. We've got dew points in the upper 60s here. That's plenty of fuel for storms. We've got Cape values, that Gatorade for storms. We've got in the 2,000 to 3,000 range. Once again, plenty of fuel for storms. We've got significant wind shear right over the problem area. And we've got plenty of twist in the atmosphere. This is the significant tornado parameter. And a lot of the values here are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The bright pink, that's off the charts. So we know if storms do go, if they do form, if that cap does break, we are in big trouble. All right, so let's just assume that a tornado outbreak does happen. Let me show you the timing of when this all will likely go down. So by about 5 p.m. Central, that's when we're looking at the most likely point of storms firing. If they do form then, they will continue marching their way east. At 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., they'll likely be in southern Minnesota and western Wisconsin and even into Iowa. And they should continue to be a problem well into the night, especially in Wisconsin. And you could even get some showers and storms that are late bloomers here down in Kansas and Missouri and even into Oklahoma. And this is 2, 3, 4 a.m. Central. We're still looking at showers and storms ongoing along that front. So to kind of summarize everything, the further north you are, the earlier in the day these storms will hit you. So Wisconsin, Iowa, and Minnesota, we're looking at from about 5 p.m. Central through about midnight, and maybe a little bit later in Wisconsin. And then Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, we're talking about from like 10 p.m. Central all the way into the early morning hours on Tuesday morning. Okay, so what we're looking at now, this is the discussion from the Storm Prediction Center. These are the best of the best at severe weather forecast. And a couple of things that stick out. They have low confidence right now in the development ahead of the dry line. So ahead of that line of storms that's going to form, that's where the supercells and tornadoes generally happen. Storm Prediction Center isn't confident of those forming just yet. A lot of the models have been waffling back and forth on that, so we truly don't know if that's going to happen. And that can make all the difference between getting a tornado outbreak versus not. But if those do form, if those supercells do form ahead of that dry line, the environment is going to be volatile and supportive of multiple long track tornadic supercells. So just like I was saying, if storms do form, if they do overcome that cap out in front of that boundary, we are in trouble. Even if we don't though, we still could get tornadoes along that line in northern Minnesota and up into Michigan and north central Wisconsin well into the night. Wow, that was a lot. We're not done yet though, guys. We have another risk for severe weather yet again on Tuesday, April 29th. Got a big, massive area of a slight risk that goes from Texas all the way through upstate New York. That's a 2 out of 5 risk. And then we've got a 3 out of 5 risk up here in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and kind of eastern New York, where we'll likely be talking about damaging winds, hail, and some tornadoes for sure. Now, the same system that caused our severe weather on Monday is also going to be the main culprit on Tuesday. You'll notice a cold front that extends here all the way up into Canada. Look at how showers and storms are firing right along that front. This is 6 p.m. on Tuesday. So storms are going to fire on the front mid-afternoon to late evening, and they're going to slam their way east throughout the evening and into the overnight hours in upstate New York, Pennsylvania, and into central Ohio. Looks like they're going to take the brunt of it from about 9 p.m. to maybe through midnight Eastern. And after midnight, those storms should rapidly weaken along that front. More severe weather again, Wednesday, April 30th. Thank goodness it's just a small area though, but it does include Dallas, Texas. There's some mega supercells could form, but still a couple of days out. More details need to be ironed out. I have all that in a future video. Just want to say thank you to Reed, Brian, Edgar, and the whole Team Dominator team for having me once again on their show last night. Looks like I'm also going to be on again tonight, so make sure you check that out over on Reed Timmer's live stream. Huge thank you to all of our new community members that came over from their community. Each and every one of you is amazing. Boom! And in large part, due to a lot of those Team Dom folks coming over, we just crossed 8,000 subscribers. Wow! Thank you to all the subscribers. And also, guys, I will be live tomorrow, Monday, April 28th, covering this outbreak here on our YouTube channel, maybe live on Reed's channel as well. I likely will also be live on Tuesday, depending how things shake out. We got the Stormfront Freak Chase Week coming up in a little over a week. Make sure you stick around for that. Thank you for watching us. As always, guys, find someone, tell them you love them. Do something nice for someone today. Oh, I pointed at the wrong camera. Today. This is Stormcat 5, and I'll see you on the next one.